Hello friends, I am again before you with the model answer for yesterday's case study. Today we will be taking up one theoretical question. So now let us see what was that case study and what can be the model answer for that in about 250 words. Now the case study is like this. You are asked to approve a large PPE kit contract during a second COVID wave. No time for competitive bidding. What safeguards will you employ to ensure probity? Now, even though this question is referring COVID, but in any emergency, these situations do occur. For example, floods are there, or earthquake, or any other natural calamity is there. So you will have to purchase some material or large quantity material also urgently. So what kind of safeguards you have to do? Because this is very important, because whether you purchase in normal times or even in emergencies, certain safeguards, yes, of course, little different, but certain safeguards you have to follow so that you use the public money also correctly, and also you don't violate the procedures prescribed also. So now let us see what are the ethical and administrative challenges involved, and what are the steps to be taken, and how those steps can be justified. So all those things let us discuss and let us understand. Now, core ethical and administrative challenges will be like this. First is public health emergency versus procedural integrity. Now, this is important because here you have to, on the one hand, maintain integrity. On the other hand, you cannot delay also, because public health emergency is there. So, speed versus transparency in public procurement. So, again, you have to maintain speed. You cannot delay, but then you have to procure it in a very transparent manner also. Then avoiding corruption and favoritism under discretionary powers. Usually in emergencies, GFR gives powers for emergency purchases, and some discretions are also given to the officers. But then the discretion should not be used for favoritism or corruption. So this is again very important. Then accountability under audit and public scrutiny. So because sometimes when pre-audit is not possible, post-facto audit also can be done, or scrutiny can be done. So that also we'll see what steps we need to take. Now, what are the course of action which officer should follow in such a situation? So now invoke legal emergency procurement clauses with justification. As I told, in GFR, there is a provision that in emergency, the procedures can be shortcut basically. So you need not go for 21 days tender and all those uh, procedural guidelines, because that's what time is not available to you. So here urgently some purchases have to be made so that life can be saved. So rule 166 of GFR uh, for direct procurement in emergent public service needs. So in emergencies public, there is a rule prescribed in GFR so that you can follow general finance rules. However, ensure a written reasoned justification recorded and vetted by finance department. So in government of India, there are internal finance divisions, IFD divisions. In state governments also, there will be finance wings are there, which will vet your proposal. So that also needs to be done. So this has to be followed. Now, second point is adopt limited tendering safeguards. Now, limited tendering safeguards are also prescribed by CVC guidelines are also there, and also in GFR also it has been prescribed. So if possible, float a limited tender among impaneled or past performing vendors to preserve competitive pricing and quality assurance even within compressed timelines. So if possible, you do that. Now, third is constitute an oversight task force. So create a multidisciplinary in which some officers are there, some experts are there. So you have to constitute a committee or oversight task force which actually evaluates, negotiates, and records all the decisions to prevent conflict of interest. So this task force may comprise with finance, procurement, medical, and legal officer. Basically, the concerned officers along with legal and financial officers also, which will evaluate, negotiate, and record all decisions. And the committee system also prevents conflict of interest or arbitrariness. So this is also important, because if single officer is doing, there is chances that favoritism will be there, conflict of interest will be there. In discretion times, arbitrary decision may be taken. But if a committee is there, definitely the decisions will be more fair. So therefore, a committee system is mandated here. Now, next step is insist on compliance, quality, and delivery clauses. So this is again very important. Even though you finalize short-term tender, but still you have to insist on compliance, quality, and delivery clauses. Include clear service level agreements. Enforce quality certifications of BIS or ISO level, and penal provisions for non-performance. This also needs to be done. Expediency must not compromise the safety. This is again very important. So you have to include all the clauses even though you have less time. Ensure documentation and audit trail. Digitally log all communications, decisions, vendor interactions, and approvals to ensure post facto CAG and CVC audit compliance. So here pre-purchase audit or pre-audit is not possible. So post facto CAG and CVC audit compliance needs to be done, and for which all communications, all other interactions, all minutes of the meeting, etc. should be maintained properly. Post-emergency public disclosure. So once the emergency is over, publish procurement details under proactive disclosure of RTI Act once the emergency abates, and restore public trust, because transparency definitely ensures public trust in the institution. So that has to be maintained. Now, what are the ethical frameworks which can be applied and which uphold the steps which we have just enumerated? First is utilitarian ethics, maximize lives saved without eroding ethical governance. Second is Kantian duty ethics, uphold procedural propriety regardless of pressure. So, I mean, even though the pressure will be a little different, but still that needs to be upheld. Nolan committee principles, integrity, accountability, and openness should be maintained. Second, ARC report principles, expediency must be institutionalized, not individualized. So this is again very important, because it can, I mean, individual discretion promotes favoritism and all those things, so that can be avoided. Now we can conclude that emergencies test the true strength of ethical governance. Fast track decisions must be, so even though decisions are fast track, it must be procedurally sound, transparently documented, and ethically defensible, ensuring both public safety and institutional trust are preserved. So now this completes the model answer for the case study. We have used various ethical theories. We have used ethical words and phrases and enumerated steps which are legally tenable, ethically defensible. So all those things has been done. So now let us see what question we are going to answer tomorrow. Now this is the question. Emotional intelligence is more critical than technical skills in public administration. Examine in light of recent administrative challenges. I will read it again. Emotional intelligence is more critical than technical skills in public administration. Examine in light of recent administrative challenges. Now, this question we will be answering in about 150 words, and we will discuss and answer, give the model answer tomorrow. Now, thanks a lot for watching today's video. We will meet again tomorrow with the model answer for this question. Now, thank you, one.